Okay, I've kind of interrupted my entire thoughts on the Last Jedi thing because I found a video that basically encapsulates everything I hate about the defense of the Last Jedi, and is in the form of this video by Maj0r Lee. I'm not gonna bother spelling it because he kind of puts numbers in his name, but I'm not gonna bother spelling it. But this Maj0r Lee guy made a video called "The Last Jedi is amazing and you are all insane." Obviously, that doesn't sit well with me. But not only because, I mean, you're starting your defense off the bat by insulting people who disagree with you, which, if political discourse today is anything to go by, is not a good idea. All evidence has said, hey, don't go insulting somebody personally when you go to confront them on an argument. Okay, that's basic rule of decency number one. Don't ever do that. And he did it. So this whole thing is basically going to be me responding to his 47-minute video that I have downloaded on my computer so I can play the audio and, kind of go through everything he talks about in this video that I think is wrong. And I only watched a minute, okay, truthfully. I only watched a minute of this video, but that minute that I watched was just him strawmanning every argument under the sun that goes against this film. And alright, now if you've seen my channel previously, you know that I'm not a big fan of strawmanning. I don't think strawmanning is particularly helpful in any type of situation when it comes to presenting your argument for or against something. But that is exactly what this guy does. And it's really annoying that strawmanning has become this national pastime for so many people in the world today. It's just insane. So many people just absolutely love the concept of strawmanning other people's arguments in order to make theirs seem more genuine. But that's basically what I'm going to go through, is this entire argument, per se, that this guy makes on this video. And then I'm going to go through and basically deconstruct it all and tell him why he's fucking wrong. Alright, yeah, I might lose control if it cuts a bit too deep. Yeah, I'm not going to get triggered, #triggered, but it will get a little heated if he is just being an all-out prick, basically, by him basically being a prick. If he's just going to be a prick, then he deserves whatever he gets. So, anyway, let's play it and listen to Strawmanning Abode. The most strawmanning I've ever had to deal with since James Alsop. Yeah, that's fucking amazing. I love that. This is something, when I first watched this, the only minute that I watched, but when I first started watching that, I was like, you complain about close-minded fanboy tears, but yet you're being a close-minded fanboy at the same time. Jesus. Okay, this is just him being a facetious dick, because it's talking about that scene where he's milking that space cow, and I'm just like, what? He didn't see what animal that blue milk came from. For one, for second off, that thing looked fucking disgusting, and it looked like Luke was not only milking it, but jizzing it. Like, he was making that thing jizz for Luke. Like, I don't know, okay? So, like, that's not even an argument in defense for this film. Like, I don't care where he gets his sustenance from. Just don't show a fucking thing getting its space titties milked, or its space dongs, I guess, milked. So it's just like, it's just gross. It's directly from the cow's tit. It's part of the job, isn't it? I guess you can't deny that this is a love it or hate it kind of film. Things that you loved in The Force Awakens, you might hate what was done to them in The Last Jedi. And things that you hated in The Force Awakens, you might love what was done to them in The Last Jedi. People clearly did not appreciate the fact that this was one of the greatest scenes in all of Star Wars history, because they All right, all right. This is an argument that I really hate from a lot of people who defend The Last Jedi. Is that, oh, you're too obsessed with your fan theories. You're just a close-minded fanboy because it was just all these theories that you had that ruined your perception of the film. And like, huh? Are you fucking kidding me? No. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed some of my theories didn't make it, but I mean, you're saying that because I had a couple of theories that didn't happen to be true, that ruined my entire perception of the film. Okay, and I'm not giving you my entire perception of the film in this. I'm saving that for my review. Okay? But yeah, that's just a pretty dumb argument to make. Alright, and a lot of people I know have made this argument personally to me, and like close friends have said to me, if you don't like this film, it's because you're being a close-minded fanboy who was so obsessed with his theories so obsessed with his or her theories that you can't dig through anything else. And it was just annoying as fuck to hear, because that's not an argument. That's a deflection for whatever criticism that person is throwing at the movie. I mean, it's annoying as hell. It really is, and I really hate it. And he was also talking about the greatest scene in all of Star Wars history was the scene about Snoke getting chopped in half with not only no build up, but no real revelations about what Snoke was. Okay, and that was something that The Last Jedi was setting up, and that's why so many people were disappointed when Snoke was suddenly killed off. Because, I mean, this guy's stronger than Palpatine, okay? And Palpatine ruled the galaxy under his fist for 30 years. How all of a sudden is this guy all of a sudden just getting killed? In the second movie of all times. Okay? It's just bad timing for a lot of people. And he's about to say something about oh, you're pissed off about Rey's heritage not leading to anything. Like, well, it's because Last Jedi set some things up. And if you learned anything about the production of The Last Jedi, you would know that, hey, certain things were kind of thrown out of whack in order for Rian Johnson to have his movie. Okay. Now, I'm perfectly fine with Rey being a nobody. Okay, I'm perfectly fine with that. Alright, in fact, I would have loved that theory. I would have loved that. That would have been an actual good subversion of my expectations for Rey's heritage. But the fact is, we still don't know who they are. All we know is that they were drunkards. Apparent from what the movie tells us is that they're just drunks. That's it. They're just drunks who sold her for drinking money, and that's it. That's all we know. That's all we know is that she was sold off for drinking money. Okay. Now, I get what you're trying to do here. You're trying to say that, Rey is like a creation of the Force like Anakin was, or something like that, alright? You could do something like that, but the way they put it through was ham-fisted. Okay, you cannot deny that. The way they made Rey's heritage, kind of dead, like that was one of the main things about Rey's heritage, is it was a MacGuffin, alright? It was set up as a MacGuffin. So many people thought Rey, since she was so powerful in the Force already, without having to go through nearly as much training as Anakin or Luke did, many people thought she was a relative to a Force user. But finding this out, it's disappointing because that means there's no real way to justify how Rey became so fucking powerful. She just literally does a lot of things, okay? This is the reason why so many people think of Rey as a Mary Sue now. It's because it's just so many things without training or combat experience or anything like that. So it's just like, how is she able to do all of these things? And you cannot justify all of that with the Force, because Luke had to go through so much training with the Force. Anakin had to go through a lot of training with the Force. Obi-Wan had to go through training with the Force. Qui-Gon had to go through training with the Force. Yoda. Everybody in the entire series has had to go through some modicum of training with the Force. And you could argue, well, Luke didn't train all that much. But Luke did train that much. Granted, it wasn't all shown on screen, but everything had development. It was all they either had a few years or a couple months or something in between. This was a direct continuation of The Force Awakens. So her all of a sudden being able to do all these amazing things that that only a couple of Star Wars characters could do on their own. It's kind of insulting to the audience when you kind of take that away in order to just make her nobody.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Each and every one of those Rey theories, if they actually happened in the film, they'd have the dramatic weight of a feather. They're not good. If you don't see how this is much more relatable and a better dramatic reveal than just being somebody famous's daughter, then you really do not appreciate good storytelling. If you guys were able to come up with said theories, that's the definition of the word predictable. You just predicted it. And then...
Well, there's a difference between predictable and it being outright dog shit. Okay, if somebody could have predicted that maybe Rey was a nobody and she was a living creation of the Force, okay? Somebody could have predicted that. Okay? Yes, it wouldn't have been the greatest, the biggest thing out there, but still, it would have been a predictable scenario. It's a lot of things like that are predictable. But that's not to justify the storytelling of The Last Jedi. Okay, like I said, there are a lot of things that people just do not like about Rey, and one of the big things about that is she's able to do so much, and yet she knows absolutely nothing really about anything. Alright, and unless we get like a 3-year time skip like we got from Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi, where she actually does train, it would be a little bit more, she would be a little bit more believable as a character. But the fact that she was able to get a freaking triple kill shot on the Millennium Falcon's cannon on her first shot, that's pretty dumb. Okay, and there's a lot of things that you could have done with her that would have made her such a unique character, but they didn't. And that is the problem. She could have been like the daughter of, I'm going to use Mauler's example. She could have been the daughter of somebody who was an officer in the First Order. And that guy happened to be Force sensitive. And that's why she was able to do all these things. Or maybe her dad really was a drunkard. And he regrets throwing Rey out. So it's just like, I mean, you had so many things you could have done that wouldn't have been going along with Rey's parentage, and she still wouldn't end up as a blank slate. Like, she could have some character development. She could realize, hey, maybe my parents aren't as good as I thought they were. Or, hey, I should be going my own way on this thing because everybody around me is just, either evil or they're just being dicks. They could do something like that, but instead they don't. So Rey is just a blank slate. That's essentially what Rey is. She's a blank slate who's aimless with nowhere really to go or knowing what to do. And that's the whole problem with Rey's character that a lot of people really have. And yeah, I mean, you can throw in the Mary Sue stuff too. And yes, I can see the justifications for that. And I can also see some reasons why Rey wouldn't really be considered a Mary Sue. But there are very few arguments I can find in favor of that.
This would have been exactly like Empire, only not good at all. Instead, we get this whole new theme that yes, she's a nobody, and anybody can have the Force now. Luke says it himself.
Now, I am not a big fan of this theory that everybody can have the Force. I mean, that kind of goes against what has been set up in the universe, that you have to be, born with it. Whether it be passed down or something, like have it be, you have to be related to someone, and the entire thing with, Anakin being a living creation of the Force, that was actually implied to be the creation of Darth Sidious, Darth Plagueis. Alright, like I said, alright, it's a good message for everybody that they can have, that a kid can have the Force and all that shit, that they can do all of these cool things with the Force. Yeah, that's good for a kid's fantasy life, but you have to understand that not everybody's going to have this awesome power. Okay, it's good as a fantasy line. But as a thought outline for thought out reasoning, it's not good. It just doesn't work in the context of the series. But the lore just doesn't help it. Now that is not what. Now that was an outright lie. He said Luke says that himself. Luke said that everybody can have the Force now. To say that the light dies when the Jedi dies is vanity. That's kind of retarded. That's not saying that everybody can basically have the Force now and be super powerful with it. That was pretty dumb. That's not what he said. He was saying that you do not have to be a Jedi to be, for the light to be there. You do not have to be a Jedi. You could be a gray Jedi. You could be something that isn't a Jedi and still be able to do many great things. Right? Which is why one of the reasons why the gray Jedi are so underused. One of the reasons why I'm so pissed off about Luke's character portrayal in The Last Jedi was the fact that he wasn't really a gray Jedi. That was one of the cooler aspects of the story of the expanded universe, was the fact that you got freaking gray Jedi, and they had different ways of handling things than the Sith and the Jedi. So it was just better thought out.
Ryan trashed what JJ set up is so not true.
Bullshit.
Watch The Force Awakens, and they could very well be setting up that she's a nobody. The film has plenty of that theme in it as well. One thing JJ definitely did was leave a lot of stuff open-ended, maybe too open-ended, because it led to way too much speculation. Now, there's only one person that I know of whose prediction about Rey actually came true. Call me crazy, but wouldn't it be cooler if she wasn't related to anyone? I think the idea that Rey is a nobody and that anyone can learn the Force is a great concept. And man, does it feel good to be Rey. Now, a lot of people think that Kylo is
Yeah, don't brag. I don't care.
lying to her about her parents being junk traders, but then why does it come out of her mouth? Yeah, just let it go, guys.
What? Did she freaking... What are you talking about? It's not like she freaking... Are you serious? It's not like he actually showed her. Are you kidding? When they tried Force Skyping, Kylo said that the effort would kill her if she ever tried to do it on her own. And yeah, they're in the same room. That doesn't justify that. Are you shitting me? Like, what? Oh, yeah, it's like, you told it to me, but it's like, oh, I can see it now. It's like, what? Are you shitting me? You don't get any visual confirmation either. Like, a connect scene would have really helped that part to really establish, hey, maybe they were nobodies. But we don't get that. And that is the big problem. We aren't shown anything. We are told things. Even though a movie is supposed to be a visual representation of something. Yes, you can leave some things vague, but in order to build up tension for something that would come later, and that's exactly what Rey's parentage thing was. But are you shitting me? He did not show her. He did not physically or mentally show her that her parents were drunks. Or that they were nobody, and that she is a nobody. Are you kidding me? That is such a stretch. I swear to God, that is such a stretch. Ugh. Well, let me get that off there.
Why does it come out of her mouth? Yeah, just let it go, guys. What are you gonna say? She's lying to him now? Watch, I bet there will be people in that camp by tomorrow.
Oh my God.
Very sadly, did not comprehend how perfect Luke Skywalker's ending was.
Nope. He was character assassinated. Alright. I can go all day on Luke Skywalker's character. And why I think that not only was Mark Hamill severely disrespected, but a world-renowned character was disrespected in the most egregious way possible. And people loved it as a result. Okay, Luke Skywalker's character portrayal is one of the many, many gaping flaws in the movie. Right? And like I said, I'm trying not to give you guys my exact thoughts on it, right? I'm saving that for my review, but this is a freaking stretch to say that Luke Skywalker was perfectly portrayed in The Last Jedi, and he was not.
Especially the fact that it was very much like Obi-Wan's sacrifice to save him in A New Hope.
Okay, there's a lot of problems with that. Obi-Wan did not turn away from the call of duty after hearing Princess Leia ask for his help. He did not turn away from the call of duty. He answered the call and he encouraged Luke to come with him. And you know why Obi-Wan ended up dying at the end of the movie? Oh, not at the end of the movie, on the Death Star, fighting against Vader. He knew that he could beat Vader, but he was toying with him. He was trying to give Luke and his friends enough time to make it out of the Death Star alive. And he was showing, and his death was a visual metaphor for, the setting up of the Force Ghost. He said, "Strike me down and I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine." And then Empire Strikes Back, that comes to life in the form of Obi-Wan being a Force Ghost. Obi-Wan transcended death. He became more powerful than Vader could possibly imagine. Alright, top that off, Luke went to his island to die. While Obi-Wan, when you go looking by what the prequel set up, and the original trilogy set up, Obi-Wan was sent there to protect Luke, to watch over Luke. Okay, Luke wasn't watching over anything except those books, and then he tries to burn them down towards the end of the fucking movie. Top that off, he is guilted into saving his sister, okay? In the original trilogy, at the very hint of danger of his friends and his sister, though he didn't know that was his sister yet, but at the very slightest hint of danger, he ran to Cloud City for their help, despite not being sufficiently trained, and he lost against Darth Vader as a result. He became a tool for Vader to use. Well, not really a tool for Vader to use, but he was misguided. He could not block out his feelings. But he had a feeling. He just had this slight feeling that, hey, Han and Leia and Chewie are not in a good position. I need to help them, or otherwise they'll die. Alright, and he risked even turning to the dark side itself to save his friends. Yet in this movie, he does not do even that. He doesn't do anything but sit on his fucking island and complain a lot. And he also cut himself off from the Force for no reason. Because that's apparently a thing too. Alright, Obi-Wan sufficiently trained in the Force. He trained with Yoda. And he trained with Qui-Gon's, ghost that we never see in the original trilogy. We don't get to see things, but it's inference thanks to the things that were set up in those movies. And if you ever read the comics and shit, then you would know, hey, that's how that turned out, and everything like that. Obi-Wan, big thing that was protecting him, he kind of protected Anakin, well, not Luke, he protected Luke from Darth Maul, because Darth Maul kind of ran in there. So it's just like, are you kidding me? God.